So after that, you need to think about what do I need to think about.
Yeah. And I think we've already started talking about these things with the previous slide. Part of this is about getting that conversation going, but at the same time making sure that you're also got at the back of your mind kind of the issues that you're going to need to kind of address that are your own creation, the issues that you're going to need to kind of identify that at the other party's creation, and also just make sure that as part of what you do, you don't send the wrong messages or suggest the wrong kind of outcome. We have seen in the past suppliers actually almost become a little bit too subservient and kind of doing everything they can to resolve the problem, but without actually making it clear that this is actually a goodwill gesture from them in terms of trying to resolve this, just to get to the point of getting this back on track. But then later, when things, despite the best effort, that hasn't happened, that effort that they've put in has been kind of used as evidence that clearly they were the party that had to do this sort of stuff. Otherwise, why would they have stepped up? So part of it is about trying to make sure that you do the things that you need to do to get this to a success point, but at the same time being clear about why that is happening.
Yeah, absolutely. So once you've considered what the issues are, kind of how you've contributed to those issues and what the issues are around that, you need to understand from that perspective. You then need to consider what the commercial realities are. So if that involves you thinking, well, I'm just going to throw the supplier in the bin and get a new one because they've given me kind of a change request, which is $1 million. You think that's outrageous, but then without thinking too hard about it, kind of pick up another third-party supplier who will cost you $1.5 million to effectively finish and implement this project. You sit there and go, well. So it's very important to think about cost benefit, and also, as Simon mentioned earlier, these are inevitably a long partnership. It's not just implementation, because ultimately what you'll have is ongoing support usually as part of these projects as well.
Yeah. So it's and in the first session that we talked about wherever possible, kind of thinking about your plan B. So as you start to implement something, thinking about, well, what happens if this doesn't work? What is my plan B? How do I unpick this, and where do I go to next? Hopefully you have that, that option of, if all goes wrong, that there is this plan B if you're the customer. But reality is that sometimes that's just not the option. You've invested so long down this path that actually you can't throw them out now, because you've actually got 4 months left before this thing needs to go live. So that might be the answer. You can't, because you've actually implemented a whole bunch of other software and the expectation that this is going to be delivered. All these reasons may actually impede. So it's actually about taking that step back now and assessing on the basis of what you originally intended, but actually where you are now.
Also, I mean, it sounds very easy. A number of times we have these conversations about let's just kind of terminate and we'll sort of, that's not always the best answer. In fact, it's hardly ever the best answer. Not wanting to do myself out of work here, but you've got to really think about kind of the impact of that course of action on you and your business. Kind of it costs a lot of money, it takes a long time, and they're hard, frankly. You look at them internally, kind of you'll understand generally what's happened, but then you'll have to talk to somebody like us, bring us up to speed. Kind of if it's going to go to a mediation, we need to bring a mediator up to speed. If it's going to go down a litigation route, you're going to need to bring a judge up to speed. And kind of a lot of these people aren't necessarily kind of going to understand that underlying tech sort of focus, and so it'll take a long time, and it'll be a massive distraction for you and your team. And this is the project team, and probably also depending on the size of the business, also kind of the kind of the executive team as well.
Yeah, and look, it's exactly the same on the supplier side. They're going to have to pull people out that they are wanting to make money off, who are doing consulting somewhere else, to actually spend some time making sure that the case that is put forward is the right case, the strong case, and an accurate case. And so these people are no longer actually doing billable work or chargeable or recoverable work. They're actually now focused on something that's just going to consume a fair amount of their time. That's assuming you can actually find them in the first place.
That's true. And look, I mean, I'm not saying that that's the wrong answer. It's just, it is certainly something you need to think about when you are deciding which course of action you are going to take. So the last thing is, and this is partly what we've been talking about on the way through, is kind of now you've kind of got to this point, does success look different now? Are you able to achieve the outcomes you need through a slightly different way of